Obviously, we've had the recession back in 2007. Is this a good time to build and will these houses sell?
Yeah, I mean, as you allude to, we've now submitted an application jointly with Persimmon for housing on half of the site as a sort of first stage of development, and it's challenging. Persimmon, we're doing this in partnership with them. They are reasonably confident that the housing will work there, but it will be a relatively straightforward scheme. The additional contributions that the council wanted originally, they now recognise that the scheme can't deliver, so it is a reduced scheme, but we wouldn't be going forward with an application if we didn't believe that there's a market for that type of house in that location.
You've overseen many major schemes in this region. Is this one of the most important for you? Because the Victoria Ground did mean an awful lot to the city.
It's certainly one of the most frustrating, and you know, our business is quite simple. We take rundown or derelict assets, we sort them out, we build them out ourselves, or we sell them on for other people to build, and it's extremely frustrating to have a site sat there, particularly such a visually prominent and well-known site. Yes, it's in that respect it is extremely important to us, and you know, it's doing no good for Stoke-on-Trent, and it's doing no good for our business to have it sat there empty. So coming up with a solution is vital, and yeah, we'll get there, but yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, the Victoria Ground's such a special place. You think something has to be done for
yes.
the fans? Yeah,
absolutely. And you I mean, you mentioned its history, you know, and the fans. I mean, certainly part of the scheme, in some way, needs to celebrate the fact that it was the home of Stoke City Football Club. It was one of the they were one of the founding clubs of the Football League. It was one of the only remaining clubs left on their original site before they moved. All that needs to be reflected in some way. It's difficult to do, but in some way as part of the redevelopment.
Speaking to a couple of the former players, they were on about maybe naming streets after former players. Do you think that would be a nice way to celebrate the success of Stoke?
I think it is. I mean, we haven't got into street naming. Street naming, you wouldn't believe it, but is actually one of the most difficult things that we get involved in, because Stoke-on-Trent, like a lot of local authorities, have a policy of non-duplication. So there's no confusion. You don't want two Stanley Matthews ways, because it would confuse people. And of course, at the new grounds at Trentham Lakes, the northern half of that site we named after football Stoke players. So we've got Stanley Matthews Way, Gordon Banks Drive, Dennis Violet's Way, and another one which is just escaping me, but there's another one. So yeah, we have already got former Stoke players' names there. Oh, Tony Waddington Drive, that's the other one. I knew there was another one. I got there eventually. I could forget Tony Waddington. So yes, that's a sensible suggestion, but then you have to go through the process, because the council you have to get council's permission to name roads. You can't just call it Mike Herbert Drive. You know, just not that I ever want to Mike Herbert Drive, can I hasten to add, but you can't just do it. It has to go through a process.
Do you expect these plans to go forward and maybe start building this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that we'll get planning consent in the next 2 to 3 months. There's then a process to go through in terms of what's known resolving the detailed conditions, because obviously a planning consent comes with conditions that they'll have to be dealt with. There's quite a bit of work to do in terms of preparing the site. So yes, I mean, it is quite likely that work will start later this year, and I think you'd see the first houses start to appear during 2014, which sounds scary really, but yeah, that's our intention.